Welcome to the Customer Wins podcast, where business leaders discuss their secrets and techniques for helping their customers succeed and in turn grow their business.
Hi, I'm Rich Walker, the host of the Customer Wins, where I talk to business leaders about how they help their customers win and how their focus on customer experience leads to growth. Some of our past guests have included Shelley Taylor, the CEO of Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas, and Tom Singer, the CEO of Austin Technology Council. Today, I'm speaking with Adam Isrow, the president of hotel operations for Wolf Urban Management. They manage properties I think you've heard of. And today's episode is brought to you by Quick, the leader in enterprise forms automation. When the last step to earning your client's business requires filling out paperwork, don't ruin a good relationship with a bad experience. Instead, get Quick Forms to make filling out forms a great experience and the easiest part of your transaction. Visit quickforms.com to get started. Before I introduce today's guest, I want to give a big thank you to Justin Crane of Crane Financial Solutions. He was a recent guest on my podcast, which is by far the funniest episode I've had. So go check that out. And also check out Justin's website at cranefinancialsolutions.com. All right, I'm super excited to talk to Adam Isrow today. Adam is an innovative business leader that thrives on building successful company cultures, technology, and businesses. He co-founded GoConcierge, which became the world's largest and most desired concierge software throughout the United States and 65 countries around the world. He built the company focusing on delivering excellent technology coupled with excellent client support. That's a winning combo for sure. GoConcierge was acquired by Alice, an Expedia company. Since the transition to Alice, Adam became president of hotel operations for Wolf Urban Management, a real estate development company. Adam leads by example and believes the success of any business starts with taking care of your team in addition to your clients and customers. Adam is a proud dad to 2 daughters and has been married for 26 years. Man, I wish we could just talk about that. Adam, welcome to the Customer Wins.
Rich, great to be with you. Thanks so much for having me. And it sounds like we share a lot of similar passions of taking care of our customers. So really excited to join your podcast. Great to be with you.
Yeah, I'm excited for everybody to learn more about how you've done all this. So if you haven't heard this podcast before, I talk with business leaders about what they're doing to help their customers win, how they built and deliver a great customer experience, and the challenges to growing their own company. Adam, I want to understand your business a little bit better. How does your company help people?
So specifically with GoConcierge, our goal was, can we allow the concierge in a hotel to spend more time and attention on the guest, less time looking for information, looking at logbooks and the manual process. And they do so much. And the thought was, can we help them some more time and attention on the guest by giving them technology so they can really create that exceptional experience, which ultimately was what they do every day.
But why did you start that? What was the pain you felt?
Good question. Again, entrepreneurs try to solve a problem. My problem is that I have really bad handwriting. And when I was working in a hotel for a period of time, we had logbooks. And what I found is every hotel uses these logbooks and binders, and just a ton of information is totally manually done, which in essence is totally inefficient. And if you go behind the scenes at a hotel and you watch them in action, you realize that they were totally reliant on these pieces of paper or these logbooks and these binders. And the thought was, we really want to deliver excellence when it comes to service and creating experiences for guests. You don't want to be reliant on these logbooks and binders. You want to be able to just provide them with the information they need immediately. And you also want to be able to give a great presentation. So at the time, instead of giving, back in the old days, a car rental map that was highlighted or something scribbled on a piece of paper, the thought was, can we just deliver something with a hotel logo on, make it look beautiful, and keep it simple? Can we send a text message? Can we just create a better experience? And it was a real simple problem, but I saw that everybody had this issue in hotels. And that's really where the goal came from is, hey, let's create a tool that will allow us to create efficiencies. And back in the day, it really started with my partner was good at Microsoft Access database. And back in the day, it was, in the middle of the night, we're sitting up, typing in how to go from this hotel to Disneyland and typing in directions because it was before the, internet was there and before, MapQuest and all the other, Google Maps. And what we realized is that we get asked a lot of the same questions over and over. Again, we could print this out, have the information right for the guest, and deliver a great experience. And if they do that, the reward of the concierges is allowing them to help even more guests and go deeper with the guests to ensure they're having a great experience. So for us, that was really exciting. And while it seems like such a basic problem to solve, at the end of the day, we found hotels. It didn't matter whether it was in Los Angeles, California, throughout the United States, or around the world, that need was there. And it was a need of efficiency, because wherever you are in the world, service matters. And we wanted to make sure we deliver great service.
And Adam, I'm just imagining what some 25-year-old today is looking at, where they're saying, what do you mean? This is just standard stuff. I have the iPhone, I have everything at my fingertips, but we're talking back in 2000, right? When you started this?
Yes. And interestingly enough, I mentioned we transitioned from Microsoft Access to the internet. And at the time, we thought, hey, we're going to put this on the internet, because we didn't want to have a single point of failure on every network and go into the hotels and say, hey, let me load this on your network, because
yeah, right.
Your IT is busy enough. The last thing I want to do is have a point of failure at every single hotel. So, well, let's put it on the internet. So that's a crazy idea. Concierges don't even all have access to the internet right now. Of course, that's exactly what we did. And it really changed our business, because then it allowed us to go anywhere and to provide exceptional service without having to physically touch everyone's network. And we started door to door in Los Angeles, because I remember thinking, if I worked in hotels, so I knew that it would work. I just had to convince somebody to give us the opportunity, because once they tried it, I knew that it would change their guest experience. So I would walk into hotels and I would bring a sample of what they gave me, because I would say, hey, how do you get to the Hollywood Bowl? And then scribble something out. I'd use that, send it to the general manager, and say, hey, here's what we can give you, but this is what I got from your hotel. We'd love to talk to you. And fortunately, I had enough conversations where I pressured them just to, stop nagging them. I just got them to try this system. And as I had imagined, once we had one use it, I felt that word of mouth would travel. It's a very close-knit industry. And also concierges move around quite a bit. So I knew if they left that hotel, I wanted them to love GoConcierge so much, so when they come to the next hotel, they want to bring it with them. And that's what happened. We started in Los Angeles, went to San Francisco, San Diego, and we grew throughout the United States and ultimately in over 60 countries around the world.
Man, yeah, you filled a very, very important need. Do you have any concept of how many hotels you went to before you got your first sale?
I called a lot of hotels. And what I found was in Los Angeles, it helped going actually door to door, because everyone is too busy. So you call them on the phone and, oh yeah, that sounds great, send me an email or send me information or what have you. But fortunately, probably made 100 phone calls. And in the beginning, what I found was when I walked into those first few hotels and explained what we were doing, I thought that would be the home run. And then what I learned is that it was threatening, because I thought, oh, well, this is going to take away my job. And I thought, okay, I need to change the position, because I don't want them to think it's going to take away their job. What I was trying to explain is it's going to enhance their job and make it better. So once I started doing that and getting into that first hotel, that's when I knew that we were onto something. But to your point, it didn't happen after that first phone call. It took some time.
No, I see. I love these stories of startup too, because I had a friend who started a carpet company. You go to contracting sites, see homes being built. He went to 49 job sites and got denied over and over and over. The 50th, they bought, and then he was in business. He was 18. He just kept going and going and going. So I love these stories.
You have to be willing to hear no, because that happens a lot. People say no, and you're off to the next one, because you're going to hear that a lot. So I love that 50 times, and you finally.
Yeah. But you also said something else really important there, which is you changed how you presented it. You learned to speak the language of the person you were selling to or talking to. You learned to understand the value that they wanted from it, even though that wasn't necessarily the first thought that came out, right?
It evolves. It evolves during that, because you're learning what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah. I think everybody in business has that problem of being able to speak the language of their customer. And, when I think about concierge, I think about going to a hotel, and when you go to the concierge desk, you get the best treatment out of anybody in the hotel. I mean, the front desk is great. The maids are great, but honestly, the concierge is like a beaming light. They want to serve so much. And it's so great to work with somebody like that. And so it's nice to hear about how you have improved their ability to do that. Do you have any kind of sense of what kind of impact that was having on hotels or customer service scores or anything like that?
Well, I think what was happening was we were able to, when you look at the impact it had on the guest experience, which translates to, the comment cards at the time, the surveys, and overall satisfaction. One of the ways I used to like to turn the question upside down is, what's the cost of not having GoConcierge? And that was something that I spent a lot of time on, because concierges are exceptional at what they do. And they're like magicians. They just wear so many hats and they just get things done. And they don't always think about all that they're doing and the impact it's having. But if something was to fall through because that car rental wasn't made, or that airplane transportation wasn't arranged for them, and now it's last minute, now the person is jeopardizing missing their flight, what's the impact on that? And because all that stuff was automated, no matter how good the team is, something could happen. And of course, the concierge would take care of it, but how do you remove that friction? So yes, we found that it made a big impact on the overall satisfaction of the hotels, because their guests left happy. And those concierges created what I like to call magical moments. So it's one of the most unique professions in the world, right? Because they're creating happiness, memories. There's going to be a picture of a family having a great experience in their family room. And it's because there's something the concierge created. So there aren't a lot of people that can talk about creating that much pleasure for others. And my thought was, can we just make their job easier because they work so hard?
Yeah. Wow. So if that's what they're doing for their clients, how are you doing that for them? How are you creating those magical experiences for the concierge? And I have to imagine this probably stems from how you built your company and the team and the culture. So how did you approach that?
So first and foremost, no matter how great our technology was, which I felt very passionate about our team and the technology we built, at the end of the day, our success was going to come because of the support we provided our clients. And I always told the team, I want to be the best support, the best vendor partner they ever work with. And that's 24/7, because as we grew from Los Angeles, California, to throughout the United States, internationally, it's basically a 24/7 operation. We had clients all over the world. So it was 12 o'clock noon somewhere all the time. And
Right.
I did not want to take a chance that our team was going to let somebody down. So our mantra was that we would kill with kindness, and we would make sure that we were going to always be there to take that phone call or return that email immediately. And it seems unheard of, but what I learned during that process is it is amazing what just returning a phone call or responding to an email promptly will do. And I think that I took great pride in knowing that if you talk to any of our clients around the world and say, hey, how's the support, the technology and the support, are they responsive? Do they do what they say? I said, here are our clients, call anyone that you want around the world. And they would be very supportive, because that's how we helped them the most. We were there when they needed it. And we built up a business that helped concierges do what they needed to do. And then what I learned, the hard part about that is, now they reliant on GoConcierge. Oh my gosh, we've got to be able to be up 24/7, because if all of a sudden they don't have access to the system, craziness happens at their hotel. So it was a really interesting paradigm, because we wanted to make sure we delivered everything they needed. And you're dealing with technology. So as you know, hardware sometimes breaks, things happen. And that to me is the moment of truth. What happens when things don't go great and GoConcierge goes down, which, you know what, we're very lucky to have incredible uptime, but things happen. That's when you really can see how much your clients value, because we were very grateful that if something happened, they were appreciative that they spoke to someone. They knew that, hey, there's a glitch, something's happening, we're working on it. And we were very transparent of what was going to happen and what we were doing. And I think the messaging is important, because when your clients know that something is going wrong, but we're fixing it, or here's what the amount of time is going to be, I think they appreciate that. But moreover, they appreciated the fact that there was always someone to take care of them. And I think that's important in any business.
Yeah. The reason I asked this question is because you're becoming the concierges. Right. I mean, how much harder of a job could you have if you have to impress a concierge?
That's where I always go back and thank my family, because my wife, when we were first starting this company, it'd be the middle of the night and I'm taking phone calls because I didn't want Asia to think it's, I'm sleeping, they're waking up support. I wanted to make sure we were there. So I would take phone calls or respond to emails and do it at any time. So yeah, my family, they had to be very supportive, and they were, as well as our team. Everyone was ready to jump in because you want to take care of those concierges so they can take care of their guests.
Oh man, Adam, that just reminded me of my first or second year in business. And I had all my work at home. It was just my partner and I was taking customer service calls at any hour. So I remember being woken at 4:30 in the morning, not realizing it was a customer service call, going, hello? Like, oh, yeah, sure. Let me help you.
I became very good at answering the phone at 3 a.m. and making it look like it was 2 p.m. because you have to do. And it was because we didn't have a huge team. So it wasn't like I say, oh, my customer support team, like, look, we started this on a shoestring. We didn't have a lot of, people on the team. And then I felt grateful we were able to start hiring people. And we got so lucky with the amazing people we had on the team because they were all equally passionate about taking care of our clients. And that's how you build a business.
Yeah, there's actually so many facets to what you were saying before. And I think to distill it down to what you're saying is, when you have that very strong focus on excellent customer success, meaning you're helping your customers, you're there for them, it's almost like the product doesn't have to perform as well. You want it to. I mean, the killer combination is an excellent product with excellent service behind it. In our company, one of our core mottos is that we have to provide outstanding service at all levels at all times, because if you get a product and can't get help with it, the product becomes basically useless and worth zero.
Yep. And I bet your clients appreciate all your customers that use the forms. Doesn't seem like a big deal just filling out a form until you're the one doing it and you've got a time frame, you need to get this done. And if your client is utilizing your tool and it's not working, it was hard to get that client. You want to make sure you keep them. And sometimes by not providing support, it's an easy way to lose a client.
One of the metrics that we look at is how many defects on forms do we have? And, I mean, a defect could be a bad field name, but a real truly bad form is one that cannot be accepted when it's filled out. And we are 99.99% correct on our forms throughout the year. That's less than one defect a month across the entire library.
Wow.
And we think of it that way, like every form has to be perfect. I think Bank of America had a commercial that said, we're not trying to print 15 million checks perfectly. We're trying to print one check perfectly 15 million times.
It's so true, right? I mean, you think about the macro perspective of that, where you're dealing with so many people or so many clients or so many forms that you're going after. The volume is great, but that small hiccup that happens will have a much bigger impact if it's not taken care of properly. So own the mistakes, fix them, and talk to the customer, because it doesn't matter what the business. I'm convinced, and right now I'm running hotels, and as much as we do a great job, things are going to happen. We make a mistake. My feeling is own that mistake, take responsibility, and fix it and do more than you needed, just so that customer, that guest leaves happy, because it's hard to get customers. You want to keep them happy. And when something doesn't go right, turning a negative into a positive, I think is an amazing way to build loyalty, because they know you care. In any
how do you teach somebody on your team to own the mistake or take responsibility? What does that actually mean to you in your mind?
I think you have to empower people, right? And it starts with finding the right people, because if they have to wait to talk to a manager, or my boss isn't here yet, we'll call back, you lose. I want to take care of something now. I don't want to wait. And what I learned, because I'm really passionate about this, is now when it doesn't happen and I'm talking to a company or I'm on the phone and I'm going crazy, because I think, how much time do I possibly have to spend just to get the answer to this question, or just to fix this? And I think you build a lot of great political capital. They say in politics, same thing in business with your customers, with your clients. If you go overboard to do a wonderful job for them and to go above and beyond what they need during a time of challenge, I think they're going to be supportive, because they see how hard you've worked, they see how passionate you are, and they know they're going to take care of the problem. And that's the big thing. Take care of it right now. Don't pawn it off on somebody else, and don't say my boss, like I said in the beginning, is going to take care of it. Have the ability to empower your team, but it's a two-way street. You got to let them do it. If they make a mistake, that's okay too. You have to be able to coach them. so that if they did made a mistake, maybe they gave too much compensation, it's okay. The next time, here's how I'll handle it. What I've learned is that the majority of time, by far, they make the right decision. And I tell people, do what you feel is right. If it was your family, if it was you, it was your partner or your wife, what do you want? And just do that. So I say DWR, do what's right and do more than you need to do. And I think that's how you win people over.
Oh, I love that. Do more than you have to do while doing what's right. I'm going to echo some of the things you said, because we've had downtime. Amazon had a glitch in their system that caused the whole internet to go down. And I remember the CEO of a major company kind of being very upset with me personally, saying, I didn't choose Amazon, you did. It's your responsibility.
And it is. He's right. It's our responsibility.
It is, right? And we had to think, how do we overcome that next time? How do we build another backup plan? But the more important point was, I was talking to him. I wasn't shirking in a corner. I was actually accepting his phone call and talking to him and having the meeting. And when emergencies happen, your brain thinks, I got to fight the fire, but you forget to communicate with the client. And we've learned as a team to have a lot of outbound communication during those problem moments. And what we actually learned from our customers is that because we're proactively communicating and we are reacting to their communication, they respect us more, they want to work with us more. And they're actually not upset. They're like, well, things happen, we get it. What upsets them is bad expectations or mismatched expectations, right?
That's it, Rich. And you're so right. And what I think in the beginning is it's easy to do when you're starting. The question I have for you, and what I challenge other companies for, is it's great in the beginning. How do you scale it? And when you have 1 client and 10 clients and 100 clients, that's great. What happens when you get to 1,000 clients and you just can't physically pick up the phone and talk to everybody at one time? How do you scale that? And that's something that I think is so important to think about that in advance, because no matter how great your system is, something is going to happen. There is going to be a point of failure because Amazon or other third-party providers,
fat fingers,
could have a challenge. Yeah, and it's going to happen. So you want to think about what are you going to do when that happens, and talk about that with your team so that everyone is aware. Because quite frankly, when something goes wrong, knock on wood, it was very rare, but when it does, people are on edge, right? Because they're not used to dealing with that. And I think you want to have people comfortable with failure. If something goes wrong, when I say failure, it's a mistake, but we failed at what we've done. And I want to acknowledge that. And when we do that, we need to make sure that everyone knows what their role is going to be and how we're going to take care of the customer. And that's a learning process for different companies, but it's important because it's going to happen. And to your point, when you do take that phone call and the CEO is talking to you, you're not ducking away from it. And it's easy to blow it off and have someone else take care of it, but you're the face of the company. You need to own it. You need to let them know that we're going to take care of this and make it right. And I think when that happens, what are your options? The mistake has happened. The glitches happen. The hardware is broken. Whatever has happened. But the best thing you can do is own it. And what I like to say, another acronym, LBE, you lead by example. And I think if you do that, it's contagious. And if you freak out, it's contagious. So your team is going to go one way or the other. And you want to lead with confidence, so that way they know how to handle it during what I call the moment of truth.
Yeah. Well, there's something else I want to bring it back to, which I think comes back to company culture. I know from my own example, we have a company culture of working with our customers and trying to meet their expectations, exceed those expectations, and serve them well. So when there's an emergency, literally every person on my team has the mindset of, I'm going to help the customer. I don't care if I was solving problems with software or whatever. I'm going to help the customer right now and deal with the issue, drop it all.
Yeah. I love that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was just going to say, one of the things I found interesting was that one of the co-founders and people on our technology team, so often people's expectations, well, just the programmers are sitting in the dungeon somewhere, coding right now. But I used to love having them get on the phone, because it's really rare where maybe you have someone that's exceptional at technology, but they may not always feel comfortable talking to the customers. And we had the good pleasure of having people on our team that could just talk to the clients, and they knew them. And that way it was like, no matter who was there to help, they were ready to get on the phone. And I think the clients appreciated that even the developer was on the phone, letting them know, here's what we're doing. We're going to make this right. We all share that same passion.
Yeah. I want to share something because I want to give credit to somebody on my team. My customer success manager, Kim, she's amazing. And it was, I think, through her leadership and evolution that we started to solve this problem better than we've ever had. And I'll just share this one thing. What we came up with is putting together a 911 channel in our internal communication. We use Slack. So we have a 911 channel in Slack, and we have rules about it, and we train on it. And she trains everybody about how to interact in the 911 channel. When is it actually emergency? When does it get posted? When do we start communicating with customers? And divide and conquer. Who talks to customers? Who talks to internal? Who talks to engineers? Who's solving the problem? And we split it up, and it's been working so well for us for the last several years.
Good for Kim, because she found the holy grail, right? It's about making sure that you channel, you have the proper channels to communicate, and also know what is an emergency and what isn't an emergency, and who does what. So way to go, Kim.
Yeah. Adam, let's switch gears a little bit. I love this conversation. I think we could talk about it for hours because I'm passionate about company culture, but I want to switch gears to another topic, which is artificial intelligence. And I'm curious how you see artificial intelligence impacting customer experience, whether that's in the hotel or in the operations that you currently manage, or if it's concierges. What is your perspective on AI these days?
So I think it is ever changing right now. It's it's just such an amazing time because AI is the buzzword right now. It's happening everywhere. It's happening in schools with kids, with students, with ChatGPT, and to see what that could create. But I think the most relevant area is repetitive questions. When people get, calls or emails or texts, if you have a chat about how do I get to the hotel, or how do I come to your business, or what are some of the basic things that could be answered? Of course, AI can do that. Where it gets a little bit more involved are the nuances, because we've all been on those chats that are in the chat bots, and it's like, well, I need to talk to somebody. This isn't really helping me, and especially in hospitality, you want to be helped. But I think there are things that are happening now, whether it's the digital check-in process, the mobile check-in process, requests from websites about concierge-related activities. I want to caution people about too much on the AI side when it comes to the guest service part, because I think there are people that are still hungry to talk to the concierge or talk to people and have that direct communication. But to automate the process, to allow people to spend more time and attention on the necessary aspects of the overall experience, I think is critical. So can you use AI to chop up some of the mundane aspects that don't necessarily need to be have a human on the other side of it? I think that's the direction it's going to go. But in hospitality, it's going to be a little bit of a process, understanding that fine line between where the guest needs a human and where we can help automate the process. But it's happening, and make no mistake about it. It doesn't matter what the industry is. AI is here, and the technology surrounding AI is really remarkable.
Yeah. I would like to see AI in the hotel room to help me understand what services are available, because I hate looking through the book. Where's the Wi-Fi? What restaurants open? What's around here?
Right. And what's on the menu, and what time does the pool open? And can I go
Yeah.
in, and are there classes? And can I take a yoga class, or can I take a Pilates class? Or if I want to go play pickleball, is there a pickleball court, at the resort? That's something that, again, helps the guest experience and is being done right now.
I think I'd also like to see AI help solve and troubleshoot problems that guests have. For example, I went to a hotel last summer and I tried the virtual key for the first time with my phone. And I was at the front desk. I'm like, oh, I got the virtual key. I don't need a physical key. That's awesome. I walk all the way around the hotel, dragging my bags. My back is sore. I get to the room, won't open. I have to go all the way back to the front. There were the guests. I wait 10 extra minutes to get the card. Like, I want the AI to be smart enough in my phone to just say, let's fix this problem.
Yeah. Or be able to send someone immediately, because if you have to go back to the front desk and the process, now you're having steam come out your ears because you're so aggravated because you've been traveling all day, you walked all the way to the room, and I got to go all the way back. And oh, by the way, there's a line at the desk.
Yeah.
If you have technology, it has to work. And if it doesn't work, there has to be an easy way to solve that problem. So that's something on the hotel side that they're trying to make better, because you're right, that ruins the experience. And they haven't even started, they haven't even gotten to the room yet. So you have to have the ability to solve that problem. And is there something on the phone that can immediately dispatch somebody so they can get you into that room and make it a simple experience for you, and then turn a negative into a positive, because that's a tough way to start the experience. So there are so many different aspects of that. It could be ordering room service, and there are easy ways to do that. And we want to make that a more efficient way, because oftentimes you talk to someone, you get put on hold, you want to order something, wait, you forgot to put the cheese on, or I want extra cheese, or I don't want this on it. How do you get that process simple? And then the next step to that is, well, if I delivered that to you in the room service trays, shouldn't that tray be automatically picked up? I don't want to see that in the morning in front of my door. There should be a process for that getting removed, so someone knows that that tray is in front of the room. So those are some of the areas that I think you can create a better experience for the guests, and you can leverage the technology.
Yeah, I want the Chipotle app for the in-hotel restaurant.
That's
I want
right.
it to be that simple to order food.
You bring it right away. Bring it right
Yeah.
away. That's right.
You know, there's a fallacy. I think you probably know this in software. I'll see if you've had this experience, but I think it also applies to artificial intelligence. And the fallacy is that people often, consumers of products often think that now that I have the software, it should do 100% of everything I want that I could ever ask of it, right? And I'll give you an example. We had a customer early on call us and say, I can't use your software. I cannot justify paying for the software because I'm missing 2 of my data points. They're not flowing onto the forms. I said, let me get this right. We can bring over 48 out of 50 of your data points, but because we can't do the extra 2, a 96% solution is not good enough. Nope, not good enough.
Whoops. Yeah. How do you solve that problem? And I used to say with GoConcierge, I wish we could clean the rooms for them as well. We'll do everything that we can, as much service we could provide. But at the end of the day, there are some things that it can't do. And you know what? If you're 96% good, a couple things they may need to do. Wow, think of all the time they're saving aside from those 2 points. So maybe they can use the technology.
Yep. Man, Adam, it's been really good to talk to you. So before we wrap this up, I do have another question, but I want to ask, how would you like people to find you or connect with you? What's the best way?
I appreciate that. You know, probably the best way is right on LinkedIn. So Adam Isrow, and send me a message. Love to connect with people, love to help wherever I can, and love to learn about other people's businesses and companies and where I can help them.
Yeah, and I can attest to that because we're meeting for the first time and you've been just awesome to work with.
Thank you so much. And great talking to you as well. And I just got to say one thing that struck me before when we were talking earlier about the water weaning, your first business that you started, that entrepreneurial spirit from way back when, you figured out a way to solve people's problem, even when you were 12 years old. So for those that aren't familiar with your first business, check it out because it is pretty amazing. And I can see how you parlayed that into amazing companies thus far, and your passion for taking care of that customer, which I think is amazing.
Well, thank you. Yes, I was bit by the bug of being an entrepreneur.
At an early age.
Yes, for sure. I often tell people I'm unemployable. I have to have my own thing.
Which is good. It sounds like you're onto something great. So kudos to you.
Well, thank you. Okay, so here's my last question. Who has had the biggest impact on your leadership style or how you approach your role?
You know, I think early on, I would say I've been fortunate to be around really great people, but I like to think about family because I have been surrounded by an amazing family that has taught me the importance of hard work, being a leader. And I saw it firsthand with my parents, with my brother and sisters. And really that's where I got the initiative to want to go out there and be successful, because I learned it at home. So I would say those are the people that helped me grow to where I am today. And without them, it would have been really hard to get here because we've all had challenges along the way. And when you can lean back on your family, especially when you're trying to build a business, which I think you could attest to, you need all the support you can get. So I've been really grateful for my family who helped me get here today.
Well, cheers to that. I hope everybody understood. A good family is the one that actually supports you, not the one that tells you you can't do it, don't even try, etc.
Especially during the tough times when things aren't working, to remind you, keep going, keep going. That's what you need. So, you know, with my wife and my kids, that because there are times, as you know, when you're building a business and you know things come up and just you're about to go do something and that phone call comes in, you've got to take that call, you got to fix something. But it's really a balance, and there are no shortcuts to success, and you need to be able to put in the time, but you need to be surrounded by people that are supporting you. I think that's what is key. It's really helped me out quite a bit.
Yeah, man, I echo that. I didn't tell you, but my mom is my partner. She is the other co-founder of our
Is
company.
that right?
Yep.
I love
And
it.
so she sacrificed a lot. She risked a lot, and she's made it work, which is, I mean, huge testament. We've always put our family first in front of the business, and made sure that we were always on the right path together. So yeah, I completely
Great.
agree.
That is really nice. So take care of your mom. She's taking care of you, and together the dynamic duo. Look what you've built together. That is a family fortune. What I call that, because helping each other, doing it together, and sharing the success. How exciting is that? Way to go!
Yeah, it's been super rewarding. Well, look, I want to say thank you to Adam Isrow, President Hotel Operations of Wolf Urban Management, for being on this episode of the Customer Wins. Go check out Adam's website at wolfurbanmanagement.com. That's Wolf with 2 F's, right? And
Yes.
don't forget to check out Quick at quickforms.com, where we take the work out of paperwork. I hope you enjoyed this discussion, and we'll click the like button, maybe even share this with somebody, and subscribe to our channels for future episodes of the Customer Wins. Adam, it was such a pleasure to have you on today. Thank you.
So fun, Rich. Let's keep up the conversations, because look forward to staying in touch. Congrats on all you've done. Thanks for having me. It was great to be with you.
Thanks for listening to the Customer Wins podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.